warm-up. I'm Stu Wakeford, and thanks to the wonders of Zoom, joining me over in TWA is my bestie, the ambassador, Marcus Gale, and he's the Barry to our Robin and Morris Gibb. He's my seventh favourite Brentford player to play for the club that's born in 1988. It is, of course, Brentford women's gaffer, Carly Osborne. How are you, lads?
I'm all good.
Very well, thank you. How are you, Stu? Good bit of research there as well, isn't it? Seventh.
He's put some effort in that.
1988 was a vintage year for Brentford players, mate.
Was it?
Yeah, you're just behind Alan Judge, Andreas Bjelland, Luke Daniels, Shay Logan, Ross Montague.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a couple that I'll go behind. I don't know about others.
Hey, Monty's got to put Monty in. I went to school with Monty.
Yeah, to be fair, Monty's all right. Monty had a good time at Brentford. Used to enjoy playing against Monty when we was youth team.
I'm actually, Miles Weston. You're probably actually about eighth, mate. Anyway, how
Wow.
you been? How you been?
I was good. I was good until I jumped on this.
Honest, lads, I've not showered.
That is skanky, man. That is
yeah,
nasty. I'm so glad it's Zoom.
Is it? What's the point, though? We're in lockdown. No one smells me. I brush my teeth. I'm high-fiving myself if I brush my teeth every day.
Personal pride,
Hygiene.
man.
Yeah. Hygiene's important, mate.
How good was Nathan Elder last week, lads?
Yeah, he was good. He was fantastic.
Got a bit. I saw Charlie McDonald at the game. He's up for coming on. We've got to get him on. But Isaiah Rankin today.
Yeah, good to hear and see Ranks on the show today. Been a good friend from our days at Brentford, for sure.
Well, look, thank you guys for sending in your questions for us. I will read out our favourites a bit later. I hate doing this, but we got to do it. If you can, if you don't subscribe at the moment to the Brentford YouTube channel, if you could give us a subscribe, it means that you guys then know when we're putting out new videos and content. And, you know, if you do like the show, maybe give us a little like on the thumbs up down below. You don't have to, but I'd like it. I think you boys would like it, wouldn't you?
I would.
I'd enjoy it, yeah.
So you make two old men really happy.
You're talking about yourself, because I'm younger.
I'm the oldest one looking on here, that's for sure.
That's very true. Stu, you look the oldest.
Sure, it ain't me.
Yeah, I look like at the moment,
Wow.
any danger the hairdresser's opening, I look like a grey tennis ball at the moment. It's awful.
Do you know what I want you to do, Stu?
What?
I want you to bring that rascal helmet you used to wear back.
Right, moving on. Right, honestly, today's show, absolute belter. I know I say it every week, but seriously, FA Cup special this week a bit. And talking of the FA Cup, there was only one man we could speak to, DJ Campbell, and I took a little trip down memory lane to that giant killing against Sunderland back in 2006. And then get on this, 20 years ago next month, a fresh-faced Kevin O'Connor rifled home his first ever goal in a Brentford shirt, and the rest, well, as they say, was history. Me and him had a lovely time rolling back the years, a little trip down memory lane for you. It's all been a bit of a look back on the past, but don't worry, we've also looking forward today. We're going to be chatting Leicester City on Sunday in the FA Cup, as well as a little sprinkle of Luton on Wednesday. And, of course, we've got our guest, as we said, Isaiah Rankin joining. So, should we get him out, lads?
Let's get him out.
Right, he nearly sent us down with that goal for Grimsby, but always forgiven when he joined us that summer with 15 goals in 75 appearances for the club. Give me goals, Isaiah. Goals, Isaiah. It is, of course, Isaiah by name, but Messiah by nature. Isaiah Rankin. How are you, mate?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
All good. Very happy to have you with us. It is, of course, FA Cup weekend, and I'm sure we'll go into it in a bit more detail, but you scored the goal that started that comeback away at Southampton. Mate, that was nominated for Match of the Day, Goal of the Month, and lost. That's got to be a wind-up, innit?
Yeah, that's someone's having a wind-up. I thought it should have come first, to be fair.
Well, you do know who won it, didn't you?
No?
Wayne Rooney. Don't know what happened to that fella, to be fair. Right.
No. Some player.
Marcus.
Yeah.
Charlie, you both played with Isaiah. Where does he rank in players that you've played with?
You've been doing some homework, Stu.
See what I've done there?
I think for me, the complete package of a human being that can play football very good as well. As I said, great human being off the field. Pleasure to play with on the field. A real team player, honest player that always gave full commitment and 100% effort. no matter what was going on in the game. So that's how I would sum up Isaiah as a teammate.
Yeah, similar for me as well. Obviously, I was youth team then, but Ayaz was always honest. The way he played the game, worked his socks off for the team. Obviously, technically very good, scored goals, had great awareness, but he was good with the young lads as well. You know, he would challenge us, but he'd always be there to give us advice and push us on. And I always remember Ayaz being funny. He always had some kind of banter or joke to crack as well, man.
We are back in league form, obviously, Wednesday night against Luton. Now, lads, obviously, when we're playing, we always chat about the games, and after the match, I'd always go, what do you guys want to talk about from the game? Really, really sad and really frustrated and angry that this week it wasn't football again. The first thing that we were speaking about was another racist post directed at Ivan Toney.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's the ugly side has reared its head via social media. Will this ever end? I think it can end, but that depends on, the social media companies. I'm sure they must have IP addresses and have some sort of verification of these accounts being set up and then automatically deleted after they've been found out. So it's unfortunate that this keeps happening, but we've got to kind of support our players the best we can and give them the best sort of awareness training of how to deal with this sort of stuff.
That's right. And the club acted very swiftly after Ivan posted about a comment on one of his posts in the week, didn't they?
Yeah, I think it's good how the club reacted. They did react quickly, showed the support for Ivan, which is what he needs in this situation. You know, it's disappointing, like Gailey said, that this stuff's still happening. I think people feel that they can get away with it because, the social media companies. Me personally, I don't think they do enough. But I do think we can find a solution, but there's going to have to be a lot of honest conversations with a lot of people.
All right, and look, getting back to the football, 16 unbeaten now in the league, which is a hell of a record. Luton Town on Wednesday, bit of a tasty game, bit of a Wakeford game, if I'm being honest. Me in front of that back four, I'd have loved these kind of games. But it was a strange match, wasn't it, Carly?
Yeah, it was. It was a game of two halves, to be fair. Brentford started well. First half they were solid, performed kind of all over Luton a bit. But then, second half just didn't kind of come out the traps the same. Luton, I don't know if Luton kind of changed things tactically or not, but they come out and seemed more at it and put Brentford on the back foot.
And obviously we'd had a big gap. Well, a lot of those players had even a bigger gap, with many of them having not played since Spurs. Obviously a few had played in the Borough game, but also the training ground being shut. So we didn't really know how that would affect us. And I think we maybe thought we could be sluggish to start. But that wasn't the case, was it, Marcus?
No, as you said, having had a game for a couple of weeks, so probably given the players time to refresh their minds and bodies. And with the training ground being partially closed at times, that's going to affect it as well. But pleased to see that the team had a very strong start. And sometimes I think it's a mark of a team when you can have that gritty 1-0 instead of a 3 or 4-0 all the time. I think the 1-0s, you learn a lot more about your own team.
And 2-2 for Saman Ghoddos. Darren Bent was talking about the cross from Ivan Toney as a striker whipping in that ball. And he said that he thinks strikers maybe have got that in their locker because they know what kind of delivery they want. So, Isaiah, as a striker that's also played out wide,
Yes.
is that something that you'd agree with?
Yeah, I agree with that because you want to be arriving as a striker. You want to be arriving as the ball's delivered into the box. And obviously, as a forward-thinking player, you when you're delivering that ball or you're thinking about delivering the ball, that's what you're thinking about, putting it into an area where the striker can arrive and time is run to. And it was a great finish as well.
That's it. It was a perfect. Everything came together. It was a time in the run, the delivery. And Thomas has spoken about Saman Ghoddos, and he used Bernardo Silva at Man City as a little bit of a comparison. Not like, I mean, that's quite a big up, but in the Bernardo Silva's moved into that number 8 role, which we've seen Saman play in the last couple of games. And I like it when he does that. He did it with players before. I think he said to Sergi, look at Chelsea and how their wing-backs played when he moved Sergi back. Can you see Saman playing in this role, Marcus, long term?
Yeah, I think it naturally suits him. I don't think he's got the sort of the quickness to play out wide, that turn of speed, but where he gets his speed is in his mind, his movement, his thought patterns. The goal that he scored last night or 2 nights ago, it shows that the timing, the timing of his runs to get in there is a bit like how Sissoko scored against us in the cup. A deep run from midfield, great ball in the box. He gets himself there, puts it into the back of the net. So I can see him more in the central role where he can sort of get on the ball. We saw that in the previous game against Middlesbrough, where he scored in that and how influential he was.
We spoke about the game in second half, maybe rode our luck slightly. Thomas said it was 3 out of 10 for pleasing on the eye, but 10 out of 10 for work ethic. Isaiah, when we're in this position now where we've got games in hand, so we haven't got the points on the board, is it just about getting those ugly wins? And it doesn't matter what it looks like?
Yes. Just keep winning, and then the performance will come. Once you get the points on the board, then you can start looking at maybe we could have played a bit more, but once you get the points on the board, that's the most important thing.
And how good, look, Mads Bech Sorensen again, Carly as a centre-half. We're talking about him a lot. I'm not even calling it a bandwagon anymore because this is a straight freight train. He's been unbelievable lately, hasn't he?
He has. He's growing from strength to strength. I think I mentioned that last week as well. And it's just really pleasing to see that, he's come through as a young lad. A little bit of a rocky start as you're getting used to it, but that happens for most players who come into a team, especially when they're young as well. But the way he's grown and the stature that he has on the pitch now, you can see for me, he looks full of confidence. He's growing as a leader game by game, and it's fantastic for the club and for him, of course.
And quickly, we do have to touch on Ivan's red card at the end of the game. Again, on Quest, they were maybe suggesting he could have gone previous to that they called it an elbow on Lockyer. You could say it was an accident. It's a classic thing you see strikers do a lot of the time when they go up, and he's caught Lockyer. I think it's an accident personally, but other people could have different opinions. Do you think he was lucky maybe not to get a yellow in that incident?
Yeah, I think he was fortunate with that. I think you have to jump, and to do that, you have to get your arms up as well. High jumpers do that when you watch them in the Olympics or whatever it is. And strikers are no different. It doesn't look great on his part, so he's probably fortunate that it wasn't anything more than that at the time. But he kind of got away with that, and it probably ignited the sort of feelings with Lockyer towards the end of the game. And
in that, Ivan wasn't the aggressor in the Lockyer incident afterwards, which is why I can't work out why he's got a booking for that, because, again, we haven't seen it, we haven't got the footage, but it looked like Lockyer's instigated that. And we see this a lot. Why does it happen that the person that has something done to them will get a booking as well? And in Ivan's case, he's got sent off now.
I think referees sometimes do that almost to cover themselves a little bit. They might not have seen fully what happened, but they know that player may have some part to do with it. Nothing on the pitch really happens unless there's, two people who have played some part in it. It's disappointing, but it happens a lot in the game. And I think referees try to do it to half protect themselves. They've kind of punished both teams in a way. So I think that's just kind of the decision that the referee felt he needed to come to.
I was kind of like, look, lads, we'll just get through. It's 30 seconds, ref. Do you know what I mean? Don't put it through or something. Just let it go. Sunday League, you go up to the ref and say, don't put that through, ref. There's no point, is there? Anyway, so that does mean Ivan will miss Sunday's game against Leicester City. One man who will be there and back in the dugout after his little period of isolation is Kev O'Connor. Next month is 20 years since his first ever goal against Bristol City for the Bees. Me and him had a little chat about that and his favourite goals. Here we go! Kev, how's it going, mate? You good?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
Next month, it's 20 years to the day on the 20th since your first ever goal for the club against Bristol City. Yeah. What do you remember about that goal?
It took a while in coming. I remember that much. As in, I played a few appearances and hadn't quite come off, and then it was a night game under the lights. I think it was a corner. I was on the edge of the box early on in the game, maybe inside the first 10 minutes, I think. And then obviously it got half cleared to me. I took an okay touch and then managed to get my laces on it, and it took a ever so slight deflection to help it into the top near corner. So I was delighted.
Did you always know you were going to hit it? Because when I watched it back, you hear someone in the crowd shout, shoot.
I was always hitting it because obviously after the touch wasn't perfect, so I was getting after it, and then I thought I'm just having a go here and hope for the best, and lucky enough it fell in for me.
And you didn't have a celebration plan, did you?
No, I was running, the stand was half empty, as you can see, if you ever watch it back, and I was just running down the line there. I didn't really know what to do because I was so surprised with myself, and it was like the first time, so it's an amazing feeling.
Have you got a favourite?
As we spoke about, probably my best technically was probably the Wrexham at home, where I'd come on as a sub under Martin. I was trying to get my way into that team, and he was playing me a couple of different positions, and I come on at 0-0, and then I was just backing up a cross that come in and just got cleared and took it on the volley on the move, and it flew perfectly into the top corner.
One of your more important ones, though, was probably that Swindon penalty. In the year we went to, I know obviously we lost in the final, but I want to get onto penalty taking and free kicks. How often would you practice penalties? Under Martin,
it become available. So before then, I didn't really think of it. And so I started practicing, and he saw I was practicing and other players, and I was quite good at it. So he one day said to me, right, you're going to take the penalties. So I would practice both sides, down the middle, and I'd just try and learn to do the same technique every time, so then the keeper wouldn't be able to read which way I was going. So I would practice definitely the day before a game, and sometimes during the week if we had time as well. I'd practice probably 10 to 15, but I didn't want to do too many and then start second guessing myself as well. So it's a fine balance.
So it's all for you, it was in giving the keeper no sign of where you're going to put it. So a bit kind of like what Ivan does now with his run-up.
I suppose I call Ivan's a walk-up, but I would take the same steps back on the same angle, and then I would try and put it in different places, because especially nowadays, even more so than when I was playing, that there's so much analysis that they can see exactly where you prefer to put the ball and stuff. So I'd try and vary it as much as I could, but obviously I did have a favourite side.
And with regards to going back to that Swindon one, I was behind that goal nervous as hell, because it was like a big moment, because we're going into that second leg.
Yeah.
And were you nervous?
To be totally honest with you, every time I took a penalty, I was nervous. I wouldn't say I enjoyed taking them, but I knew I was okay at them, and I knew they were important to score. The Swindon one, I was not nervous. The only time I was not nervous taking a penalty. I was angry. I was angry at what had happened the week before, just all of it. No, not one particular bit, just all of it. The way it happened and the way it didn't happen for me. And I just had that anger in me, and I just knew that I had to score. And I knew I'd score. Amazing. And it's probably one of my best penalties I took. I hit it so cleanly and just straight into the side netting. And it was a small release from that whole week, because there's so much crap, if I can say that, happened after that, rightly and wrongly. And people say stuff, and people think they know stuff, and bits and pieces. But I was angry, and I was thinking to myself as I was taking it, this should be last week.
Really? So obviously, for context, some people that might not, that was obviously the week before the Doncaster game. We've discussed a few goals there. You've played in so many different positions for the club. You've played up front, the wing, centre mid, right back. Where did you enjoy playing?
Good question. I think I played my best football probably from right back and maybe right midfield, but I enjoyed myself the most in central midfield, because you're always involved in everything. And especially in those times, more under Andy Scott, I think it was, when obviously the team, when we got promotion, and then the next season in League One where we finished comfortably mid-table, and those I think I probably enjoyed that the most. But right back, I thought I was solid. Right midfield for the first couple of years, I thought it was really good, and then obviously Martin put me right back. But yeah, I enjoyed the challenge of different positions as well. I enjoyed the manager saying to me, "Look, can you play left back for me this game?" The odd time, that didn't happen often, left back. And then centre half as well. Obviously, I was getting slower, so I have to try and read the game and anticipate a bit better and things like that. But I'd love the challenge of being able to play in different positions as well.
When Martin first said to you, you're going to play at right back, were you like, I'm centre mid, I want to play centre field?
Do you know what? I think it was a home game to Wickham, and I think Dobbo got injured or something had happened, might have been suspended, one or the other. And then he said to me, "Look, you're going to play right back." I didn't think much of it. I thought, okay, I'll give it a go. And I played okay. And then he said to me before the next game away at Walsall, it was the next week, he was clever. He pulled me in and he said, "It's easy to play right back at home." He said, "Can you do it away?" So he gave me a little challenge before that game. And then that game, I think we won 1-0. I think John Solarco scored a penalty, and I played well and the team played well. And then from there, just carried on. But yeah, I loved it. I loved learning the position.
It's strange now, because probably the number that a lot of people associate you with is the number 2.
Yeah.
But you were a number 9. So back then when you were a number 9, did you have any thought that I might end up finishing my career for this club one day as a right back?
No, it was weird because obviously the youth team, I was a striker. I'd done well. I scored goals. You know, I was a good striker. Then when I went to step up into the first team, I'd do well in training, and then in the games, it was probably a little bit too much. The step up was difficult. I felt that, and I admitted that, and then so I was pleased to try and find a different position to adjust my game, because I knew I had certain qualities. You know, I was limited in some areas, but I had certain qualities. So it was about finding those positions, and I was just pleased that, like, obviously Ray Lou put me right midfield, and then Wally Downs gave me loads of confidence when he started playing me every week. That was the start of it, really. And then obviously Martin then converted me to right back, and like I said, I could go on and on about the positions, but it was. I loved playing. I just wanted to play. So it wasn't to myself, I have to play as a striker. That wasn't to be. I kind of knew that fairly early on, so I had to adjust.
And you spoke about all those managers there and all the positions you play, but you're now part of the coaching team, and you've been manager in the B team level and stuff. At what point in your career did you think that's where you wanted to go when you finished?
Probably, I'd say mid to late 20s. I started thinking about it a little bit, and then I realised how long it takes to get your badges. So I thought I'd better start doing this relatively soon. And yeah, because obviously you want to play forever, and you know you can't. So it's the next best thing. So that's why I then sort of got involved in the coaching badges and gradually took my steps. And the club, to be fair, have been brilliant. Managers have been brilliant with me. Mark Warburton, especially when I finished playing, and that transitional period where you still kind of think you can play, but you kind of know the standard's just too high for you. You know, more than likely the odd game you'd be okay, but then if I went and played 10, 15 games, I'd probably be found out at that time. So I felt him and Dave Weir dealt with me brilliantly that transitional season, and I learned so much from them, just shadowing them in training, and obviously taking the odd bit myself, but just learning off them guys, and then off other people since then. It's been amazing. I've been very lucky with the path I've had.
Do you miss playing a bit?
Yes, totally. I sometimes the odd time have to join in the 11v11 like the day before a game to be on the opposing team, and I absolutely love it. It's as if like that's my cup final still. Even though I'm not as quick as the guys, I still love it, and in your head you still think you're okay.
Talking about this season, we've just had the halfway stage with the win against Luton, although we haven't played everyone yet, obviously with Bristol City yet. What's been the assessment of the season so far from you guys?
I think we're happy where we are. I think we've had some very good, consistent performances, especially more recently. Early on in the season, we were a tiny bit slow to get going. But again, change of players, and it's always going to be the case when that happens, when there's a turnover of players. But the run we're on and the consistency, and like you said to me there, Thomas's words from last night, how hard we worked, and to get that win last night was big, to carry on that run, and like I say, we had that small break, and just to get the players back up to full speed again, you know, in that match intensity. And yeah, last night was a very good performance in that respect. Obviously not perfect second half, but like I say, in a lot of other aspects, very good, and we managed to keep the win.
And going into what they call like the business end of the season is the cliche. I know what you're going to say, because I ask everyone involved.
Yeah.
Is it a case of each game as it comes now? And why?
Yeah, it has to be. Because no one game is bigger than another. Okay, you can say the 6 pointers, but then if you beat a team in that situation and then go and lose next week and they win, is that as you were. So you just focus on the next game, keep doing what we're doing, keep doing what we're doing in training, keeping it enjoyable and fun, and the players engaged, and just keep them going, because it's a strange season, so many games, and consistency is going to be the key, I think.
Well, it's an exciting back end to the season. Kev, I really appreciate your time, mate. Cheers.
Pleasure. Thanks, Stu.
What a man. You don't get much more Brentford than Kev O'Connor, apart from maybe Peter Gillam. Isaiah, old teammate of yours, did you always see him going down the coaching and management route?
I wasn't sure, but the more you look at it now, the way Kev played and the way he thought about the game, it looks a perfect match at the moment.
Well, the one man he'll be up against in the dugout on Sunday is Brendan Rodgers, who for me, I think he's probably the best about. Certainly, well, one of the best about, and arguably the best British manager about at the moment. They're serious title contenders in the Premier League. Let's get that right. And we've played some decent sides this year in the Cup. Is this going to be the best side that we faced?
Yeah, I would think so. I think Rodgers is a very good tactician, how he sets up his team. got a very young side, a lot of legs, a lot of skill, and a lot of goals as well from different areas of the field. I don't just rely on Vardy, but there's goals all over the place. So that makes them very dangerous for us on the weekend. And yeah, rightfully so, they're going to be up there for the title as well.
And you say that and mentioned Vardy there, but with both sides fighting at the top end of both tables, do you think that will impact the lineups that we see?
I don't think it will massively, to be fair. I think Leicester will know that Brentford will want to win this game. And I think Leicester won't make too many changes. I think they'll make one or two, yes, but I don't think they'll make too many changes. And I think it'll be a really competitive game. Both teams going to win it.
Well, they've got some players coming back from injury, like Soyuncu, Pereira obviously came back in the week. So, Isaiah, do you think that Brendan Rodgers might use this as an opportunity to get them 90 minutes under their belts?
Yeah, I think he'll use the fringe players or the players that are coming back from injury mixed in with maybe a few of the boys that have played regular, and it's a chance for them to go further in this competition.
And obviously I'm buzzing for it, but I think because of our growth in stature as a club, it's a bit weird, isn't it, that you kind of take this for granted. Like, back in the day, if we played a Premier League club in the Cup, I'd be absolutely buzzing for 2 weeks. But it's become almost like they're at our level now, isn't it, Marcus?
Yeah, and that shows you the growth of the club, as you said. You know, back in the day, it would have been, you know, a day out for the fans. But now it's a day out, but with a lot more riding on it. There's an expectation now that we're going to do well against the Premier League sides. And that this game at the weekend is no different to that. Yes, they're a very good side, but they also know and respect that we're a very good side at the same time. So, again, big game for both. And we'll find out at the weekend.
One cup tie against a Premier League side that we won't forget is one that Isaiah played in against Sunderland back in January 2006. DJ Day, where he spun Gary Breen right round like a record, baby, right round, 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 and dumped the Mackems out the cup. DJ, how's it going, mate? You good?
I'm super, Stu. You?
Yeah, no, mate. In the company of a legend, so I'm all good. Obviously, it's FA Cup weekend this weekend. Two of your old clubs going head-to-head as we play Leicester in the fourth round. But I want to talk to you, of course, about the competition. And your love affair with it started before you joined us, actually, didn't it?
Yeah, so, my love affair with the FA Cup started, when I was at Yeading. So, beat Staines in the second round, scored the winner in that game, and then we got Newcastle in the third round, which was amazing.
Well, look, we've got to talk about that one game for us, the giant killing against Sunderland. Let's go back a bit and the draw. So when the draw is made, we get drawn to Sunderland. They hadn't won since September, I think. So did you boys kind of go, you know what? That's a hell of a draw. We're at home to a Premier League club and we've got a chance here.
Yeah, I can remember vaguely, obviously, Martin Allen, we're having a meeting, and obviously due to their poor league position and performance, as you said, it was a possibility, really. So he was obviously letting us know like it's something that we can achieve.
And going into game, you talked about Sunderland's form, but you personally, you were on a hell of a streak.
Yeah, as I said, it started from pre-season. Obviously, Brentford signed me for 5k, I think, from Yeading. So from pre-season, I was scoring goals in pre-season, so that's what got me in the first team. And
going into that game, because you were on that streak, were you kind of feeling like, as a striker, anything you hit was just going to hit the back of the net going into that one?
When you're a striker, you could ask any striker, you have to have that mentality, otherwise it's pointless, you know. So I knew I had a chance of scoring goals, obviously, from my previous form. But it was just a great day. Everything just worked out for us. It was just one of them special nights where everything we done was right. The tactics was right. The players gave it 120%. The fans were superb. It was just, everything was just perfect on the day.
You mentioned the tactics there. So what were the tactics and what did Martin say to you boys before the game?
So obviously the plans were to get it to Lloydie, kind of flick it on or hold it, you know, and then I can go in behind and try and do some damage, which thankfully it worked.
And you were up against Gary Breen and Neil Collins, and Gary Breen had been to a World Cup with Ireland And like,
Yeah.
obviously,
He told me that. He told me
he
that.
told you that. Would he get in your ear during the game? Was he?
When I managed to score the first one and done what I did to Gary Breen, obviously I gave a bit back to him, and then to score the winner as well is just, you know what I mean, it was just a pure elation. So
What would Gary Breen be saying then? So he was telling you, oh, I've played for Ireland in a World Cup and all this stuff?
yeah, he's basically saying you ain't got a chance. You know, when you're playing at this level and playing against this level of opponents, you know, there's so much things that go on, that they tell you things and trying to put you off your game and stuff. It's just, that day was my day really, and obviously Brentford's day.
And on the day, I remember the atmosphere was unbelievable. Like, it felt like something was going to happen that day. When did you start to believe this is going to happen today?
It just felt different. The day just felt like it was just, you know, something was going to happen. And then obviously with them having a poor form and where they were in the league, we knew their confidence weren't the highest. We were doing all right in the league. And as I said, we had a chance of going up that year.
Right, let's get into nitty-gritty. So first off, I remember not loads happened. Like, I didn't feel like they were like on top of us or anything. It felt like we were probably making more of the opportunities, but pretty nondescript first half. Then second half, come on, now we're talking. 15 minutes in, you've already alluded to it already. Gary Breen, you left him with his concrete boots, mate. He can't turn around quick enough.
Yeah, no, the first half was fairly even. They probably had the better of it a little bit, but obviously we knew that would be the case. The longer we could hold him, the more chance we'll have. And then, as you said, 15 minutes into the second half, Tabby flicks it through to me, and he was a bit, as I can remember receiving the ball from Tabby and running straight at him, but because he was so square, either side, he's in trouble. So bad defending from his behalf, especially with an experienced centre-back like him. He should be side on. So seeing that, how his feet were, I've just gone round him, and then keeper the same, 2 squares. So he thought I was going to shoot, and I've just touched it round him. It's bobbled a little bit, and it's gone a bit wide, and then I've obviously cut it in.
That celebration, I think the first goal, the celebration is almost more iconic. And you running down past the paddock.
Yeah.
What's going through your head then? Are you just running? Like, is it just?
It's just adrenaline. It's just the occasion, what it means for us as a team, what it meant for the fans. All of these things, like, it's such a split second feeling, but all of these things run in your mind. Like, you're just happy for everyone. You're happy for the boys, how hard we've done, how well we've played. Something like that will stay in, you know, in the history of the club, and that's what. You know, it's a base for the club. So these things are important for clubs like Brentford.
So we've got that high, we've gone 1-0 up, then 10 minutes later, they equalised. Come on, mate, that was a fluke, right? That's never...
Yeah, that we always knew that could happen. You know what I mean? Thankfully, we took the lead, so we had a bit of momentum. Obviously, when they scored, it was kind of like, but we know we can score against them because we've already done it.
When we've gone to 1-0, a lot of teams, the heads might have gone down.
Yeah.
That didn't kind of happen with us. How come, do you think?
To be honest with you, Stu, I think we had a lot of characters. We had a lot of, as I said, a lot of players that could have played higher, which they did eventually in their career. We had a lot of leaders. We had a lot of good, genuine people that wanted to do well, you know. So no big time Charlies, none of that kind of stuff. So when they did score, it was more of a, all right, come on, we've scored again. We scored one already. We're going to score another one. And that's just what happened. It was amazing.
89th minute, Stuart Nelson got the ball. Yeah. You do the rest, mate.
Yeah, as I said, the time we scored kind of didn't give him a chance to get back in the game. So as I said, it was just a special day. Everything was perfect. Stuart's kicked the ball. I think Lloydie's flicked it on. And to be honest, as I've run across, obviously we've been working on this in training, so as I've come from the right to come across, my foot's quite high, so I thought the ref's going to give a foul or high foot or something, but he just let it play on. So yeah, when he's done that, I've touched the ball with my foot, took it on another touch and just put it in the bottom corner. So Yeah, that was absolute scenes. When that went in, that was absolute scenes. That was crazy. Probably the best atmosphere I've actually played in throughout my career. That specific time was crazy.
And were you aware that was the 89th minute?
Yeah, because I was knackered. I was on the right, wasn't I? So Lloydie was all right. He was in the middle. He didn't have to do any running, so I was doing all the running. So
how long did it take you to get off the pitch when that full-time whistle went, mate?
Do you know what? I see a photo. I think it was a few days later. It was just, the pitch was so packed. But my mate was in there picking me up, and I was thinking, how did you get there? Like, I didn't even know he was in the pit. He was in the ground. So again, special moments. As I said, it just seemed like it was special. Things like that, clubs have to go through situations like that where it builds a base for them and, you know, pushes them forward. You know, and as I said, it was an amazing day, amazing atmosphere. You know, things that will live in our lives forever. Fans, players, managers. Yeah, as I said, that day was probably, you know, say the highlight of my career, but it was up there, you know, like as in feelings and stuff like that, emotions, you know.
And you get back in the change room. What's the mood like in there? But there's some characters, and I bet
yeah, you can't explain them kind of feelings when you achieve something like that, where you're the underdogs. It just means a lot more. Like little Brentford and big Sunderland, you know, it's just two completely different, you know, situations and clubs. Obviously now it's a bit different, you know what I mean? But back then it was, no one gave us a chance, you know, and for us to play well, not just get lucky, we actually played well, was probably the better team, you know, and won it how we won it in the last minute, which is, you know, that's how you would want to win a game like that, if you know what I mean.
Mate, it's what all us Brent fans have dreamt of doing, and then it comes the next dilemma, because if I'm in that situation, I don't know if I want to go out and celebrate it, or do I want to get home and watch it about 1,200 times on Match of the Day? So which one did you do?
To be honest with you, Stu, I didn't get the chance. Like literally, when we was at the ground, obviously we was all in the change room, obviously happy and you know, celebrating, whatever you want to call it. Like the time I got from the ground to maybe halfway home, literally to Acton, I got the call that I'm going to Birmingham. So it was literally that quick, you know, so I didn't really get time for it to sink in or enjoy it. Premier League clubs coming for you. We've accepted the offer, and that was it. I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to the players, to, you know, a chance to digest what we've just achieved, because I had to think about the Birmingham situation.
That's a lot to process when you've just played a football match. Like, I can't even imagine if it was a normal league game and we just won a normal league game, but you've just had that incredible, probably at the time, like you say, a career high, and now you've got to make a career-defining decision. How did you process that information and that decision? To
be honest with you, like, I don't know how I dealt with it. It was just, that was what it was, and that was, as I said to you, if it was even if it was a championship club, Stu, I probably wouldn't have gone. I would have stayed. But because it was a Premiership club, it was a situation where, how do I turn that down? Even thinking about turning it down, it wasn't even like that. It was just like, that's what it is. As I said, it's football. Yeah. People don't see that side of football. You know, they just say, oh, well, he's gone to that club, or, you know, why has he left? But it kind of, the decision was out of my hands, really, if you think about it. Obviously, I could have said no, but, you know, I was playing for Yeading in Ryman Prem 6 months ago. Do you know what I mean? So it was absolutely just a whirlwind. So, yeah.
Well, look, mate, your time with us might have been short and sweet, but you wrote yourself into the history books that day, and we absolutely love you. So thank you so much for spending some time with me today, mate.
Anytime, Stu. No problem, mate. My pleasure.
What a day that Sunderland game was. Unbelievable scenes. Isaiah, of course, you were playing. What are your memories from the day?
Unbelievable game. I remember DJ and Lloydie was playing up front. I was playing out on left, and Martin Allen always told us to believe in ourselves and we would win the game. But when you're playing against Premiership opposition, you're thinking they can spark a bit of magic, but the magic came from DJ Campbell, and it was unbelievable scenes that day.
You loved the cup, didn't you? That squad.
Yeah, well, there's a few of us in that liked it. Soji loved the cup games, so I won't say why. Gailey's smiling; he knows why.
Hang on, you've got to tell us now. Or is it not for family?
No. So basically, obviously, you have bonuses in the cup, and every round we got further, the bonus got more, and I think Soji is already planning on what he had spent his money on, so he would perform in every cup game.
Amazing. Well, you lot loved the cup and the fans loved you, and they've sent us some questions, so let's get straight into it. We've had some proper random ones. Thank you for all your questions. I'm not going to ask you, Isaiah, what your favourite Blink-182 song is, but first up we've got Matt McGill. He's got 2 questions, which is greedy, but I like him, so I'm going to let him off. First up, how did Martin Allen sell the project to you?
It's funny, really. The day after I played for Grimsby against Brentford, I got a phone call from Martin, and he basically just said, I want you to come to Brentford, and he wouldn't give up until I come and met him for a meeting.
Wow. Well, that kind of gets on to what do you remember about the Grimsby game? But I guess all you remember about that is the opposition manager giving you a bell afterwards.
Well, basically, so I remember Martin and Witts going mad on the sideline and shouting, and I was just looking at them, just laughing, thinking, just calm down. Little did I know, in a few months later, I'll be playing for both of them.
So when you had that meeting with Martin, what did he say? How did he sell it to you once you had the meeting?
He said he's going to bring in some experienced players. He wants to play a certain way, and I fit into that way, and he doesn't want to be involved with a struggling team no more, and we'll be challenging for promotion.
It's amazing that you had that foresight. At this time, we've literally just stayed up on the last day.
I've got a question from Cheeky Face. What is your favourite Brentford goal?
It has to be the one away to Southampton in the FA Cup. That
day was unbelievable. Martin Allen said he went into Harry Redknapp's room pre-match. Did you know about that?
Yeah.
Did it happen?
He went in, and whatever happened in there happened, and then he came back in, and he was a bit like pumped up, and he just relayed what happened in there to the boys in the changing room before the warm-up, and we went out, and the rest was history.
It was a hell of a day. Brentford fans everywhere around the stadium, weren't they? They were just dotted around because they couldn't get enough allocation for us, could they?
I've got the next one for you, Ranks. This one's from Ben Turpin. Who was your favourite strike partner ever then at Brentford?
Tough question, because I played with Lloyd, played with DJ, played with Marcus. They're all different. Because basically I adjusted my game to whoever I was playing with. So if I was playing with Marcus, Marcus would attack the first ball. I'll try and play for the second ball. With DJ, it was 2 little strikers that could play round the corner. Favourite, I would have to go DJ.
Why DJ?
Because Ranks had to do all my running when he played with me.
Exactly.
My question is from Ben Scoops and Ninja Stewart. What is your favourite Brentford memory in a Brentford shirt?
Again, I think it has to be the FA Cup runs, and especially going down when we played at St Mary's against Southampton and also against Charlton.
That Charlton game was amazing. I know the result didn't happen, but that was a hell of an away day when we had everyone behind and also down the sides as well. Bit tasty in the crowd as well that day, but we won't go into that. I don't think. When that was going off, can you guys pick up on that stuff? Because there was a bit of an incident, I think, with the stewards, as I remember.
We was just all focused on the day, big day, big occasion.
Wasn't that the game where the fans in the dugout?
I'm sure Martin Allen invited a fan into the dugout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
was that for you boys?
It must have been weird. Like if he stood up and tried to give us an instruction, you'd be like, well, who is that? Who's that on the bench? You probably see him at the corner of your eye, but you can't really focus on him. But yeah, it's a bit strange, but that was typical Martin at that time.
Because I remember there's footage where he gets up, shouts, and I think they score like 10 seconds later, and he still stood up. It was brilliant. But that was just amazing. That was part of what that was like at the club, wasn't it, at that time? The fans and the playing staff were all together. It was, I don't know, for me, it was one of my favourite couple of years supporting the club. Right, Lee Staples, he wants to know, who's the toughest defender you've played against?
I would have to say, if we're keeping it Brentford, I played against Michael Turner when he went to Hull. And obviously we know each other and we know each other's game quite well. And I found playing up against Turner quite hard, and he gave me a few kicks.
I mean, you've obviously played in the Premier League, you've played at high level. What about in your career then?
I would say Rio Ferdinand.
Not
Pick
bad.
that name up. So this one's from George Pratt. Who's the funniest player in the Brentford squad?
There weren't one funny player. I think it was collective. We would bounce off of each other. There were some people that could take it. There were some people that took it to heart, too much. Gailey knows, that's why Gailey's laughing.
Hey, you got me in trouble today, man. I got dragged into the office because of you.
You've got to tell that story.
We know the story. It's about Lloyd and DJ. Franks made the phone call on my way home.
So was it always Lloyd that took it to heart?
Yeah.
Don't touch man's garments. That's what we
Don't touch his clothes.
Wait, Ayaz, you were up there for being one of the funny ones. You was mischievous, man. You was always in and around it. You, Gailey, always up to something.
What?
Yeah, you was as well.
I think that's how the training ground's got to be. I think there's times to taking it serious, and then when you come off or before training, you've got to be relaxed, have a laugh, and just make everyone feel comfortable. And that's the way it was back then. Even with the young lads, with you, Carly and Ryan and Darius, we always brought you into the changing room to get in on the banter and have a laugh. But that's the way I am.
Yeah, no, definitely you did, man. You looked after us proper like that. Always got us involved.
I've got a little question. I don't know if it is. It's supposed to be my own question. It's not in my script. But over your, 2 seasons you had there, how would you sum up the whole experience of your time at Brentford?
I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I think to say on record now, I didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay, but obviously Martin had left, and I think there was going to be a change of manager, a change of everything. No one spoke to me about renewing my contract, so in the end I had to look to go and play elsewhere, but I wanted to stay 100%.
My own one, Ranks, is what did you learn or take from Brentford that you were able to then put into your own coaching journey?
Togetherness, team management, collective. When you do things collectively and as a team, you will get your rewards. It's not just about one individual. So bringing everyone together will make you stronger.
Mate, I've got one for you. You've obviously worked with Arsene Wenger and Martin Allen. So who are you picking out the two?
Well, completely different. Arsene Wenger hardly said a word. At half time, he would come in and not say anything and let the players sort it out. And then the last 2 minutes just before the bell goes, he would have his input. Whereas with Martin, you know what's happening, you know what's coming. It could be quiet, or he could just start going mental, throwing things all over the place.
Bradford away. We've heard about that.
Hull. Gailey Hull away.
T. Nelson.
Yeah, where he picked up the kit and just threw it on the floor and just says, "Sort yourself, sir."
Oh, mate, look, I'd love to sit down with you and we should all do a proper warm-up extra time if you'd be up for that one day, mate.
Definitely.
Top man. Look, well, that's it for this week, boys. And like we said at the start, Marcus, Carly, if people like the show, what they got to do?
Like and subscribe.
Isn't it?
That's what they got to do. I wasn't sure if you were going to say that because I hadn't told you to say that. I got a bit worried there.
I was going to do the pointing as well for you, Stu. Press that one and press that one, but I thought that's too much.
Down there.
Yeah.
Down there.
Yeah, that one there. Just tag down there.
Right, remember we play Sunday this weekend, not Saturday, against Leicester City in the FA Cup 4th round. That's on BT Sport. So iFollow this week is all audio only. And then we play Brendan Rodgers' old club Swansea on Wednesday night in the league. Big promotion battle game that is, and you can get your iFollow passes for that at the normal place, brentfordfc.co.uk/iFollow. Programmes also available for Sunday at the Curtis Sport website. Lads, honestly, I know I said it last week, things are so rubbish at the moment, hanging out with you guys, and now that we get to introduce legends like Isaiah, it makes my week so much brighter. So thank you all, and Isaiah in particular, thank you so much for joining us, mate.
Thanks for having me.
I'm glad it's on Zoom because I don't want to hang out with you, especially that you ain't washing.
When we're allowed back in the room, I always wash. I've got good personal hygiene.
You better sort yourself out.
Nah, you haven't, Stu. You haven't.
You better sort your out.
I don't think you're clear on this, mate.
Nasty. Ranks, the man farts on the stage, you know, on the sofa and lifting up his little tail and letting one rip and then laughing.
All right, well, we haven't finished the show yet, and we're still doing that. Right, anyway, lads, quickly, I think we should wrap this up. Thank you for your questions you sent in to Isaiah Rankin, and have a great weekend and stay safe. You Reds!